victory. It's not going to be very much. Well, not going to be, I suppose, but it's not double Reapers, right? It's not going to maybe like snowball to a straight up victory, but this could do a lot of damage, and I think it will. It's a very hidden barracks.
So he's gonna bank up a whole bunch of Marauders and then go for it?
Yeah. Unfortunately, Kier scouts, which I think ByuN wasn't really. He didn't hope it wouldn't happen because ByuN's doing factory expands and not scouting.
Did he? Okay. Cure went for Reaper Fast Expand.
Yep.
Oh my goodness, Cure's misreading this though.
Yep.
He went for Reaper Fast Expand. He's getting double bunker near the ramp. I mean, it's not going to help his SCVs, but what I always think about builds like this, and I don't know if you agree, like, Marauders actually kind of suck against workers, right?
Yes.
You need a lot of Marauders for them to do well against workers. So I wonder how long ByuN is going to wait, but I would never, I'm not even sure. Do you go with 2 Marauders? I guess you have to, right?
I think so. Eventually the Reaper timing will pass, and they'll just actually have an okay number of units. Their factory will actually be producing, and, as you said, the SCVs can do a decent enough job if they're supported, and that's the trick, though, is the Marauder's going to micro any of the actual fighting units down and then live as long as possible against the SCVs. So there's the 2 showing themselves. Kier's going to be like, what the hell?
Yeah, and right on that moment he drops the CC in the bottom of his main as well. He's like, oh, I mean, obviously there's a nice little choke point here for the Marauders. Who needs a bunker? That's actually really cool. ByuN with the 200 IQ, Big Brain Gaming.
Yep.
And now I see a lot of potential in these bad boys. Oh my goodness.
There is a lot. I mean, if you do this to try and go up the ramp, it's a very different story, but actually being already in your opponent's main, this could actually be a potential game-ending victory if he kills enough SCVs. Kiri's trying to get some damage done, but he's also trying to micro here, so his Reaper's not got much yet. His Marines get focus fired like I said they would. A third Marauder's going to pop out, and that is going to help this one that is very securely tucked in there. The SCVs aren't doing very much. They just aren't. They're not, and they can't cover for these damn Marines because Marauders have that range. Kier also seems to have lost his Reaper, so this is actually game-ending. It is.
This is actually very sick. I mean, the Cyclone is almost out, and obviously the Cyclone has micro potential, but Kier doesn't even want to sing this one out anymore. GG. I think he's gonna do it. Double barracks into the main.
I think he will. This isn't a Reaper hop-up spot, so it's if you're gonna Reaper, you're gonna be close to the Reaper hop-up spot. This is not.
I'm smiling from ear to ear, Zombie Grub. I absolutely love this. Imagine if he pulls this off. Like, I can just imagine the look on ByuN's face. I can't believe I didn't just see that. The Cure is gonna have the most satisfying look ever. He's like, yeah, karma.
You know what? I feel like you gotta, though. You gotta. As the guy who just did the in-base proxy, when you SCV scout that there's not a barracks on the other side of the map, like, you gotta check your main.
Alright guys, here we go. Is the barracks taking up? Yes it is. Welcome to the TSL round of 16 upper bracket. ByuN is SCV scouting, and that is very important. He is going to see that there is only a depot. He's going to see no barracks. And now I just wonder, ByuN, are we checking the main or not? I mean, at least he's not going for Reaper Fast Expand like Cure was trying to do, but so far, Zombie Grub, ByuN is not checking the left side of his main. He has to, right?
You'd think so. You'd think. He's already been all up in Cure's main, though. He doesn't see it. He checks for the barracks that are there for Reapers, but he doesn't check in his main. It's Marauders. It's double Marauder. It's double as effective.
It's coming back. It's coming back. ByuN!
Well, still.
No, and he's gonna build a bunker too, just like Cure did. Oh no, you can't make this up. What is this?
It's so amazing. It's so great. And it's he's also got the same thing going for him, where you can always like retreat back, and the SCV strong won't be very good. ByuN is actually proxying a starport. Okay, we're gonna see if that comes into play. Right,
if he gets a Banshee out, that's pretty damn good. Nothing's shooting up at this point. Alright, the Marauders will reveal themselves. And boy oh boy, do I wish we had player cams now. And yeah, Cure's also gonna micro his units into a little choke point. Now ByuN does have a few more units than Cure had last game. And the Marauder pops on the left side, but ByuN is already losing quite a few. Does get the Marauder very easily on the left. I actually think the firepower of the Marines and Reapers is good enough here, question mark.
Well, there's also been, I thought ByuN or Cure would focus fire a bit more. There's been a couple of times the Marauders had an opportunity to kill the Marines, and then he didn't, and now ByuN is going to hold against a double proxy Marauder in his own base after killing Cure with it.
We say that he's going to hold. Oh no, why is he not going into the choke point? No, he gets surrounded.
Well,
Citizens arrest.
I mean, there's still 2 more Marauders, though. I mean, what's coming out here for ByuN? He's actually had to. He wants to afford.
Liberator.
Yeah, the Liberator, right? Because that's not going to have any answer. He's going to completely deny mining from his opponent. I don't
It's
know.
a
Man.
draw.
I
don't know.
I wish it was a Banshee, actually, right? Because then I could try and maybe do something, but. Liberator, Banshee, point is something from that starport. ByuN is currently down 11 SCVs, but at least he will stop Kira from mining. He actually might stop that factory. He does. So a bit more time bought, but the SCVs are once again pulled into the Marauders. A Widow Mine's going to try and get the shot. No! Good focus fire there. Kira tried to micro it to forward, right? But it just has too much production. And ByuN couldn't catch up. Not with good enough units.
I think it's gonna work though. I mean, like ByuN has nothing left anymore in the main. The Liberator is cool and all, but eventually Cure should be able to get a Cyclone out, and once the Cyclone is out, I mean, what do we really have to worry about? ByuN is evacuating SCVs at this point. I can't believe... I will never forget this on the drop. We just made esports history.
Oh, it just makes so much sense, right? When Kier lost his Marauders, I was like, no, this doesn't make any sense. Like, how does his 2 racks in base not work? Now it makes sense. GG.
Oh my god.
Kier brings it to game 5. All right, command center is all the way up to a starport. Anyone changing things up very much? Cyclone and Dan. Kier, what you gonna give us? Cyclone as well? Should be.
Medevac opening for ByuN. That's actually the first time he's opening. Well, I mean, obviously we didn't see a lot of medevacs in game 3 and game 4, but I think in the other games he didn't open medevac.
No, we talked about it. I expected it at least one game, and I finally get that game. But I think he has been holding off on it because he just would, he's already probably studied from last weekend. I like that he's bringing it here in game 5, not just because he's particularly strong with it, but also because there has been so much other stuff that's happened. There's so many things going through your mind after those last 2 games that I'm not sure you're thinking back to, like, okay, calm down, let's think of what ByuN would do. The medevac drop could do damage, but I also like that Kier is actually committing to cloaked Banshee. This could do something serious in return, especially if he's able to stop this drop in the natural.
Yeah. Is he gonna pick up the unit? Nope, he's just going to sacrifice the Hellion. And ByuN doesn't apparently care about his Hellion. Now we'll see how well he can do it. Does pick up the Reaper to break the lock-on. Has his own Cyclone in the mix as well. ByuN obviously looking for damage here. Finding some decent damage so far. And look at the Reaper being so tanky. That's a solid start for ByuN, my goodness.
Yeah, but I think Kier is actually doing the correct thing. I mean, maybe he's going to take SCV losses no matter what, but that Banshee didn't come over to immediately try to help out, did it? Like, it could have been microed away, hopefully, from the lock-on and still done some counter damage. Now he's hitting it. So it's going across the map. ByuN did not get into the main base of his opponent to see a tech lab researching. That is going to have Cloak. And while ByuN is getting a Raven, his Cyclone is on the other side of the map.
Why does ByuN not go for the main? I don't really understand it. Instead, ByuN is going to try to unload onto... That was risky. I think ByuN is being busy right now, dealing with the Banshee. Throws down the scan. Gets a lot of damage. Gets the kill. My goodness. Okay, so both players probably feeling a little bit of nerves here or just some tension. Yeah, it's all the little things that you can take in this point. ByuN is just going to load up all the medevacs at this point, full of units. He's going to send them where he already has that tiny force. Cure sends out a Marine. He's like, is he still there? He's like, my goodness, he's still there. And I hope for Cure that he doesn't think he can take that on, because this army is about to get 3 times as powerful.
Yeah, we really suck. He's like, oh, it shouldn't be a whole lot, and then rushes up the ramp.
Yeah, like, let's just go up this ramp. Cure is now not sieged. I'm looking at Cure's vision. He's got no idea. ByuN is coming in, does siege though at the right time.
Yeah, that was close. I think seeing the Raven, it was like, that signifier, like, well, something's wrong with that Raven, right? So the Raven's still threatening, still getting the vision, since they don't have, either one of them have Vikings, like they can just park those units over. And ByuN's gonna threaten his opponent. Actually, double interference matrix gonna let Kier push those tanks forward. ByuN tries to, I guess, return his Marines, but that wasn't actually that great for ByuN. Tries to save the tanks, couldn't do it.
Yep, well done by Cure. He read that situation just incredibly beautiful. He's like, alright, I'll drop the interference matrix, and then I'll move my tanks closer, and there is nothing you can do to save those tanks. And it's like, well, what if I stim forward? But then Cure had the rest of his army there, protecting his own tanks, and then eventually those tanks were obviously going to fire once the siege was done.
Yeah.
Well, good job by Cure. That was not easy, but definitely got himself a decent victory there.
He's got an army in the natural and an army in the main, however, should buy him enough time, even if he's not paying attention to it, which he is not. The Raven gets taken down, but the Stim returned, and yeah, tank siege up.
This has happened a few times, where I really wonder what Cure is looking at, because there aren't too many things happening. But he just doesn't really have the same amount of vision. If you look at ByuN's vision, he's got a little bit of presence everywhere. He's got the random depot. He's flying around with a Liberator that does get taken out in the bottom of the natural. But he's active, he's mobile. And Cure is just kind of sitting here on this little triangle island. Where he's like, well, I'm going to build up a strong army. And obviously that can work, because all you really need is this one fantastic fight. Especially on a map like Oxide, you can probably just keep pushing. It seems a bit uncomfortable to me.
It is very uncomfortable, but that's what ByuN's build is hoping to do to the more standard TV tier. So it makes sense, but I think you're right in that Cure needs to just be very insistent about even maybe a double sensor tower play if this is really getting out of hand, or yeah, more Marines. You know you're going to lose them because they're going to find the army and get taken out, but you need to be very insistent about it. Supply depot is looking for a scout. Marines find it instead. It was a large army, so at least ByuN found it.
Yep. Now Cure found ByuN's army as well, and maybe Cure just feels like he can stim into the natural. The eBays are there, but here's the main army of ByuN, so Cure is not going to make it. And Cure doesn't really have any tanks with this push, so Cure has to be very careful. Does stim and gets out of that. And the upgrades are going to finish up for ByuN just a little bit quicker than for Cure, but I don't really see that having a big impact. As Cure would be insane to take a fight when his upgrades are this close to finishing up.
And that was the same tactic that Cure chose to do in the first game, right? Where he kept a lot of tanks at home, or maybe it was the second game. But either way, anyways, he kept a lot of tanks at home, and then his Marines tried to do some damage, and that eventually netted him victory. But in this game, finally bringing some of those tanks forward, actually looking for engagements. He is finding a bit of space in that northern side. That's actually, I mean, I hope he doesn't think that's his fourth. Like, ByuN took the other fourth, the same one as him. Yeah, he's sitting over there now.
ByuN is steaming forward, wants to get a couple of the tanks. ByuN has got so many Marines here, and that's actually going to be more than good enough. Well done by ByuN. That's a big W. Wow. If you talk about being decisive and clutch, that was it.
Yeah, I guess Cure thought he had more time, or just the rocks hadn't been broken yet, something along those lines. He's now a bit desperately moving his army into the third base. He can't spend time on the planetary knowing that ByuN is about to get into his own third, so he's going to his opponents and at least give a little bit of damage back. And they both might lose their thirds. Yes, they will.
Why didn't he siege up near the planetary then? Look, no! Cure's actually stimming into those tanks. 3 tanks from ByuN, getting a couple of very big shots off. Like, I understand he didn't use the Marines for the PF, but I would have liked to see him just get the tanks there.
If there was an opportunity to go into the natural as well, I think he wanted to have everything together. But I mean, it's also just possible he didn't think about it, right? And things were about to get really fast and crazy. This is going to be a cleanup as Cure is not paying attention. Looks like he was paying attention to his main army, but I'm not sure why. Like, he thought maybe ByuN's army was out there and he was ready to take an engagement, but that was an opportunity missed to maybe save some units on the offensive. Now, Cure had his 4th base scan, but it is planetary. They both have to replace their thirds, but it's just that Cure took so much damage to his army. He's really in trouble, and he's once again just entirely gone to 3-3.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was about to go there. He never really started those upgrades, and then he started losing way too many units. Felt like he needed to replace these units. ByuN probably feels like he can just go ahead and end it. But if you look at the minimap, a lot of units are coming in via the top left side as well. I mean, ByuN, time is kind of in his favor. Sure, he's down a couple workers, but he's the one who's maxed out. And he's the one with those 3-3 upgrades pretty close to finishing up. It's been a fun, well, TVT series. But I don't see how Cure weathers the storm here that ByuN is about to bring to him.
I don't know about that one. Tries to catch the Vikings at the very least, but that's not all of ByuN's army, Cure. And he's about to get his SEV long distance mining destroyed. His 3rd command center should probably not live here. The 4th might hold for a little while longer, but even the tanks coming in here. ByuN will once again take TVT, the 3-2, and move on in the upper bracket.